In his dimly lit apartment, Dax sits alone, recording his thoughts. His voice echoes in the cluttered room as he speaks. They say some doors should stay locked. Under the cloak of night, Dax and his crew infiltrate the grounds of an abandoned hospital, their silhouettes stark against the decaying facade. Marla follows Dax closely as they creep through the dark, echoing corridors, each footstep amplifying the silence. Dax, holding a camera, records their every move, capturing the thrill of their forbidden exploration. Dax stares intently at his phone, his face illuminated by the screen's glow. A pin from Marla appears, its location buried deep within the Virginia woods. He zooms in, searching, but finds only an endless expanse of dense forest. A flicker of intrigue dances across Dax's face. Under the cloak of midnight, Dax and Marla converge near the spectral shadow of Black Hollow Memorial Chapel. The woods loom, a labyrinth of shadows and whispers, as they prepare for their night's journey. Flashlights pierce the oppressive darkness, carving paths through the foreboding woods. The chapel looms, a monument to decay and despair, its shattered windows casting ominous shadows. Dax films the grim surroundings, the camera lens reflecting the desolate scene. Dax's voice echoes through the chapel. Behold the desecrated sanctuary, a testament to the nothingness that awaits us all. Dax uncovers a sturdy ironwood door, hidden carefully behind the chapel's altar. A red wax seal, emblazoned with a horned skull, marks the door, its presence both ominous and intriguing. Marla notices the seal and exclaims, "That seal wasn't there in my photo from yesterday." Dax, undeterred by Marla's anxiety, prepares to breach the ancient seal. The wax seal breaks with a snap as Dax forces the door open, defying the ominous warnings. A rush of heavy, damp air escapes the chamber, solidifying their deepest fears. Dax and Marla descend into the darkness, their flashlights casting eerie shadows on the stone walls. The flashlights flicker ominously, the failing batteries amplifying the suffocating tension. Each step echoes in the oppressive silence, broken only by the frantic pulse of their own hearts. Descending into the chapel basement, they find rows of chairs facing a dark altar. The neatly arranged chairs hold slumped figures, their stillness hinting at a grim tableau. A closer look reveals the horrifying truth. They are melted wax figures, grotesquely deformed. In the dim basement, the air hangs heavy with anticipation as Dax and Marla confront rows of silent wax figures. A single wax figure with a face stares back, its gaze piercing through the gloom. Dax and Marla exchange skeptical glances, dismissing the unnerving sight as a mere prank. In the chapel basement, the figure slowly tilts its head, its silence adding to the suspense. The figure's jaw cracks open like splitting hot wax, a grotesque display of unnatural movement. A low, vibrating hum emanates from the figure, its resonance shaking their very cores. Fear grips them, the chilling sound paralyzing them in place. In the chapel basement, wax figures melt rapidly, appearing to reanimate in reverse. Dax and Marla panic. Dax and Marla run. Dax and Marla run through the pitch-dark tunnels, their footsteps echoing in the blackness. The echoing footsteps grow louder. A rising hum vibrates through the stone. They reach the stairs, only to find their escape has vanished. In the chapel basement tunnels, they discover a hidden door, its surface marred with a terrifying inscription. The chilling message is revealed. "One of you broke the seal, one of you must stay." Marla's face is a terrifying blend of fear and determination. She forces Dax through the doorway, whispering a desperate, "I'm sorry." Dax awakens abruptly in the heart of the dense woods, a sharp pain piercing his skull. Disoriented and abandoned, Dax's essential gear vanishes into the night, leaving him utterly isolated. His desperate attempt to summon his phone fails, as the screen remains stubbornly dark. He pushes himself up, his body swaying precariously as he navigates the forest's dense undergrowth. guided by faint moonlight. The trees stand as silent observers, their branches twisting into skeletal shapes that loom ominously above him. Under harsh fluorescent lights, Dax faces two stern detectives, his unease palpable. "I'm telling you, she wouldn't just leave." "Something happened to Marla," Dax insists, his voice strained with worry. Detective 1 dismisses his concerns. "Mr. Peterson, we've heard this story before. People disappear all the time. Usually, they just want a fresh start." Dax's desperation intensifies. "But her things are still at the apartment. Her car. She wouldn't leave without them." Detective 2 counters coldly. "Maybe she'll be back, or maybe she'll contact you when she's ready. In the meantime, we have other cases to work on." "You don't believe me, do you?" Dax asks, his voice barely a whisper. Detective 1 offers a hollow reassurance. "We're just saying, Mr. Peterson, that the most likely explanation is that Marla ran away. Well, keep her file open, but..." Back in his apartment, Dax succumbs to mounting paranoia as the night deepens. Every night, at precisely 3:09 a.m., an eerie hum emanates from behind his bedroom wall, fueling his growing dread. Wax, unexpectedly, drips from the air vent. Dax jumps back, startled by the sudden, strange occurrence. His eyes dart around the room, filled with nervous energy. Dax stares into his mirror, his expression unreadable. Terror grips Dax as his eyes widen in disbelief. A horrifying reflection reveals Marla, her eyes stitched shut, mirroring the wax seal's macabre symbol. Dax's face appears, etched with fear and a profound sense of regret. Dax whispers, his voice trembling with dread, "If you ever find a door sealed with red wax turn around." The chapel stands silently in the woods, untouched by time. A red wax seal is visible on the ironwood door, undisturbed, guarding secrets within. Dax sits alone in his dimly lit apartment, the silence broken only by the scratching of his pen. Flickering candlelight casts eerie shadows that dance across Dax's face. Dax scrolls through old photos on his phone, each image a memory of Marla. His thumb pauses over a photo of Marla's radiant smile. A tear streaks down Dax's weathered cheek. Dax is startled by a sudden noise, his heart pounding in the quiet apartment. He grabs a flashlight, its beam cutting through the darkness as he investigates. The room, revealing nothing but shadows. Dax lies awake in the darkness, his eyes wide open, staring blankly at the ceiling. He strains to hear any sound, his body tense in the heavy silence. Dax stands before the mirror, staring into his own eyes. A ghostly image of Marla's face flickers over Dax's own, her eyelids sewn tightly together. Dax paces through his apartment, the silence amplifying his every move. He gestures wildly, his brow furrowed as he repeats, "Everything is okay. Everything is perfectly okay." Dax sits hunched in the dim light of his apartment, the computer screen casting a ghostly glow on his face. He navigates through endless web pages, a digital historian piecing together the fragmented echoes of history. A chilling reference surfaces from the digital depths, an account of a dark ritual performed centuries ago within the chapel's ancient walls. Dax sits alone in his dimly lit apartment, a solitary figure consumed by shadows. He meticulously sketches the symbol, each line drawn with intense concentration. Lost in thought, he struggles to decipher the symbol's hidden meaning. Dax peers intently through the window, his eyes narrowed in suspicion. Below, a lone figure lurks in the shadows, their presence radiating a palpable threat. Dax's apartment transforms into a scene of hurried escape as he frantically throws clothes into a duffel bag. He looks around the sparsely furnished apartment, a sense of finality settling over him. The sharp zip of the duffel bag echoes in the otherwise silent room. A determined look hardens his face. Dax walks alone on the dark street, his bag clutched tightly in his grasp. Paranoia grips him as he glances back, the fear of pursuit clouding his eyes. Under the cloak of night, Dax stands firm in the silent woods, the chapel a haunting silhouette in the distance. His gaze pierces the darkness, his face hardened with a resolve that promises an end to the haunting. Dax enters the chapel, the beam of his flashlight cutting through the oppressive darkness. Dax moves towards the ironwood door. The red wax seal remains unbroken. Dax descends into the chapel basement. Dax enters the large, echoing room. Wax figures stare at him, their faces twisted in silent, agonizing screams. In the chapel basement, a large figure advances, its jaw cracking ominously. The figure's face contorts as a low, vibrating hum fills the room. The chapel basement reveals a large room, shadows playing across damp stone walls under dim light. A figure stands in the center, its form obscured by the gloom, radiating an indefinable, sinister aura. The figure's voice, amplified and distorted, echoes Marla's words. "You should have left us alone." In the dimly lit chapel basement, Dax stands firm, his voice resonating through the cavernous space. He confronts the unseen entity, his posture a blend of resolve and caution. His voice cuts through the silence. "What do you want?" In the chapel basement, dust motes dance in the single shaft of light. Wreathed in shadow, the entity shifts, its form flickering ominously. The entity speaks, its voice echoing through the room. "I am a guardian. I protect that which should never be disturbed." Dax stands alone, the air alive with a sinister energy. His eyes widen in sudden horror. Ancient symbols glow with an unholy light, casting eerie shadows that dance around him. A chilling realization washes over Dax as he whispers, "Oh God, what have I done?" Dax struggles to seal the door, his efforts relentlessly thwarted. The massive door shakes violently, resisting his strength. In the chapel basement, an unseen entity unleashes its fury, its presence marked only by the violent contortions of Dax's body. The air vibrates with raw, unnatural power. Dax slams the chapel basement door shut, the heavy thud echoing through the stone walls. The door seals, imprisoning the entity within the chapel's dark depths. Dax stumbles out of the chapel, his figure silhouetted against the first light of dawn. The rising sun bathes the woods in gold, a stark contrast to the darkness he leaves behind. He pauses, exhausted and shaken, as the woods slowly awaken around him. Dax leaves the chapel, his figure receding into the dense embrace of the woods. He vanishes into the dim light, knowing life will never be the same. In the dim light of his cluttered apartment, Dax hunches over a worn desk, shadows dancing around him. He carefully writes the final entry in his journal, his brow furrowed with a mix of determination and fear. He knows that the entity is still out there, lurking, waiting for its moment. Dax faces the camera, his eyes reflecting a blend of fear and resignation. "Some things weren't meant to be let out," he declares.